This video is going to cover part 1 of 310, which is called Solving Trig Equations and Inequalities. So we're going to do a little bit of it today, and then we'll finish these notes for today, and then you'll see part 2 notes for the following day. So we start with what is solving a trig equation, and this is something that we do in Algebra 2 honors, so hopefully this sounds a little bit familiar. And it's similar to what we were doing with our inverse functions. There is a twist on it. So first of all, these equations will be equations. So it will say something like find the cosine of theta, or say cosine of theta would equal 1/2. And so the answer is an angle, and that's where it's similar to your inverse functions. You're going to get given the trig function, and your answer is the angle. The difference is that we don't have to restrict it like we do inverse functions. So how they look is like that, whereas an inverse function looks like this, or it says arc cosine 1/2. So these answers for cosine actually will be pretty similar, but for sine and tangent, we don't restrict it in the way that we did for inverse functions. We had to restrict it then so that we could get a part of our graph that is invertible or passes the horizontal line test, where this is not an inverse, so we don't restrict it the same way. So the goal here is to first isolate the trig function, so we're going to work so that that trig function's on the side by itself. And then we're going to use the unit circle to find when that trig function equals that value. So if it's cosine, we're looking for the x. If it's sine, we're looking for the y. And if it's tangent, we're looking for the y over the x. You're going to give all the possible angles with exception. So if it is sine and cosine, you're literally giving all the angles on our unit circle. And if it does not restrict the interval, we give the interval of 2 pi n or 2 pi n or 2 pi k or 2k pi. All of that's the same. The order doesn't matter. But just like before, that k just represents, like when we use it in tangent, it represents a constant. So this is basically saying this answer occurs at this angle and then every coterminal to this angle. So for example, if I did the cosine one, cosine is 1/2 at pi over 3 and at 5 pi over 3. But because this isn't an inverse, we would give both of those, and it doesn't restrict the interval. We would say not only does it happen there, but it happens at every other interval or every other coterminal angle to those angles. So you'll see two different types of instructions. One's where it just says solve, and we add the interval, and then in a little bit I'll highlight what you see if it restricts the interval. Now, because tangent repeats every half of your unit circle, we only pick the angles that are at the top of it. So we only pick the angles from 0 to theta, and then we restrict, so from 0 to theta. And then we would say it repeats, instead of every 2 pi, it repeats every pi. So we would either say n pi or we would say k pi. Your AP Classroom uses K, but a lot of the just pre-calc stuff uses N. They are the same. So again, if it said something like tangent of theta equals, let's say for example, √3, then we know tangent is √3 at pi over 3, and it would also be positive √3 at 4 pi over 3. So instead of saying these plus 2k pi, we just eliminate the bottom half of our unit circle and we change that to just k pi. And it's not like the other one is wrong, it's just that it's redundant. So you're already saying that answer. So the bottom half of this just basically reiterates what I just said, which is that if you're using sine and cosine, you use your entire unit circle. If it doesn't restrict the interval, then you add on 2k pi. And if you're using tangent, you only use the top. And if it doesn't restrict the interval, you add on k pi. All right, so let's dive into some examples. Example 1, and notice that in this case, it would just say solve. It's not restricting the interval. I'll highlight when that is restricted. So for the A, we're going to solve for sine. So 4 sine of x would equal 2, because I'd add the 2. Divide by 4, and sine of x would equal 2 over 4, which means sine of x equals 1/2. So then you want to, in your mind, go through your unit circle and find all the angles in which your y is 1/2, positive 1/2, which is at pi over 6 and at 5 pi over 6. And then to sine, we add 2k pi. For B, it says cosine of x equals 0. So think about where your x values are 0, which is at the top and the bottom. So x would equal pi over 2, and x would equal 3 pi over 2. And to each of these, we add 2k pi. Okay, go to C. And now we've got quadratics, so we should have more answers. Example 2a, we would solve for that sine. So I would say 4 sine squared x equals 2. Divide both sides by 4. Sine squared x equals 2 over 4. And then we're going to square root, but when we do, we have to remember to put that plus and minus out front. So sine of x would equal plus and minus. This becomes 1/2. Square root of 1, which is 1, over square root of 2. And then we know that rationalizes 2 square root of 2 over 2. Now the easy part of the plus and minus is that because it's plus and minus, it's literally all the locations that would match that value. So we know sine is root 2 over 2 at the over 4s, and it would be all the over 4s. So when I separate it out, it would be pi over 4 plus 2k pi. It would be 3 pi over 4 plus 2k pi. It would be 5 pi over 4 plus 2k pi. And it would be 7 pi over 4 plus 2k pi. And if this was an open-ended question, this is totally fine for your answer. Now, if it's multiple choice, what will happen is just like we do with tangent, this is redundant. Separate out the top two, which top I mean by top of my unit circle, and instead of adding 2k pi, we add k pi. And we do this because pi over 4 plus 1, if k is 1, that would be 1 pi, is 5 pi over 4. And 3 pi over 4 plus pi would be 7 pi over 4. So it just eliminates the repetitiveness of our answer. So again, open-ended, I would take all 4 because they're not wrong. But on a multiple choice, which is like most of your AP, it would most likely eliminate those second 2 and add k pi. So we take just the top part of our circle. All right, let's look at another one. This time, we're going to factor out a sign. So I'm going to take out a sign, and I get sine of x minus 1 equals 0. And then we're going to split and solve this. And we're looking for where sine is 0. So our y is 0 at 0 and at pi. And we're looking for where our sine is 1, which is at pi over 2. We're going to add 2k pi, add 2k pi, add 2k pi. And if it was open-ended, we'd be done. But if you look at these are pi apart from each other. So you can also see it as 0 plus k pi and pi over 2 plus 2k pi. Or you'll even see it without the 0, and it'll just say k pi and pi over 2 plus 2k pi. So open-ended, I would have taken any of them, all 3 of these, or this one. But on a multiple choice AP question, it will most likely be written like this. All right, now notice the directions. It says solve on the interval of 0 to 2 pi. So this is where it gets a little bit easier because it simply means use your natural unit circle angles. Don't restrict anything, don't add any interval, just use what you would physically see on your unit circle. So if I go to A, 3 tan squared of theta minus 1 would be 3 tan squared theta equals 1. Divide by 3, tan squared theta equals 1/3. Square root, doing that plus and minus, 1/3. So this is plus and minus 1 over root 3, which becomes plus and minus root 3 over 3. Because it's plus and minus, it means all of the over whatevers. And in this case, it is root 3 over 3. And that tangent that is the tangent at over 6. So my answer is pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, 7 pi over 6, and 11 pi over 6. And all 4 would be given because it wants all of them on the interval of 0 to 2 pi. When you look at B, we're factoring again. And this time, if you wanted to, you could say, like if the cosines throw you, you could say A equals cosine of X. And I could rewrite this as 2A squared plus A minus 1. And I could factor from there. So I could either do first and last or trial and error. I end up with 2A and A, and then it would be positive 1 and negative 1. I can split and solve. I'd get 2A equals 1 and A equals 1/2, and I get A equals negative 1. And remember, A was cosine. So we're saying cosine of X equals 1/2, and we're saying cosine of X equals negative 1. So where on my unit circle is cosine 1/2? It's at the over 3. So pi over 3, and the other positive one would be 5 pi over 3, fourth quadrant. And then where is cosine negative 1? And that's at pi. If you're comfortable with leaving cosine in, you could also have left it and just factored it, treating cosine like it would be the x. So it would have been 2 cosine x and cosine x, and then it's positive 1, negative 1. And then you can solve from there and you don't have to substitute in the a, but that is your choice. You could do either one. Okay, now what happens when the period is being altered? So in the in the actual world of pre-calc honors, so if you're looking up extra practice for these are called multiple angle equations. And what happens is you are going to solve them like you would in the beginning. You're going to locate the solution on the unit circle, give all the possible angles. But then we also have to alter the period in which it happens, which means alter the plus 2k pi or alter the k pi. So for 2k pi, it's your sine, cosine, and for k pi, it's tangent. And you will know these look different because they will have something attached to the x part of your graph, of your equation. So something like this, not on the outside, not squared, but on the inside of the parentheses attached to the x. This means solve it first, and then when you get down to that 3x, you will alter the angle and the period, or the interval. All right, so they look like this. Notice it says solve the equation. So we're going to talk about when it would restrict the interval as well, because there's no restriction, which means sine and cosine, we're doing whole circle, 0 to 2 pi plus 2k pi, and tan, we're doing just 0 to pi plus k pi. All right, so go to A, and if it wasn't isolated, then we would do that first. So for example, if it said like sine of 4x plus 1 equals 0, then we would move it would have been negative 1 in this case. It would be minus 1 equals 0. Then we would have moved the 1 to the other side, but it's already set equal to that value. So we're going to ignore the 4x for now, and we're just going to find where sine is 1. Sine is our y. We know y is 1 at the top, which would be pi over 2. But instead of it being x equals pi over 2, it is 4x equals pi over 2. And not only does it happen there, but it happens every coterminal angle, so 2k pi. Now we're going to take that pi over 2 and 2k pi and divide it by 4, or multiply by a fourth, and I get x equals pi over 8 plus k pi over 2. So that is where sine of 4x would equal 1. Let's try it again with tangent. So tangent is 1 at pi over 4, because we only use the top. So x over 3 would equal pi over 4 plus k pi. And then this time we want to multiply by 3. So we're going to multiply both parts by 3, and I get x equals 3 pi over 4 plus 3k pi. Now I'm going to duplicate this slide because we want to talk about what happens when it is restricted. So let's say it said from 0 to 2 pi. So our sine of 4x would equal 1. We would know 4x would equal pi over 2 plus 2k pi. And the reason we add this interval on is because it's not just solely our unit circle anymore. We have to alter the period in which it happens. So we treat it as though it doesn't have the interval. We solve like that, divide by 4, multiply by a 4, divide by 4. And x would equal pi over 8 plus k pi over 2. And here's the tricky part. So I have to think about my unit circle, my values from 0 to 2 pi, and I have to give specific ones by changing the value of k. So for example, pi over 8 would be my first answer on the interval of 0 to 2 pi. But then that answer will also occur at pi over 8 plus increments of half pi. So if I take pi over 8 and I add, because if this was 1, it'd be 1/2 pi. If I add pi over 2, find my like denominator. So it's pi over 8 plus 4 pi over 8, which is 5 pi over 8. Then you have to ask yourself, is 5 pi over 8 between 0 and 2 pi? 2 pi would be 16 pi over 8. So yes, the answer is it is between those, which means it is part of my solution set. Then I have to take 5 pi over 8 and add 1/2 pi again, which is 4 pi over 8. And I get 9 pi over 8, which is still on your unit circle, so it gets included in your answers. And lastly, I would add again 4 pi over 8, and I get 13 pi over 8. And that is still less than 2 pi. If I do it again, 13 pi over 8 plus 4 pi over 8, now it's 17 pi over 8, and I've gone bigger than 2 pi, so I'd know to stop. So 2 ways to approach this question. The first one, not so bad, like in the last slide. You would just alter both the answer and the period. The hardest part is if they restrict that interval again, you have to give the specific values. So we're going to work it out with tangent again. I would say tangent of x over 3, or tangent x over 3 equals 1. The answer to that would give me x over 3 equals, and we said this would be pi over 4 plus k pi. And then from here, we would take and multiply by 3. And I would get 3 pi over 4 plus 3k pi. Now, the first one, 3 pi over 4, lies between 0 and 2 pi, so I would keep that as an answer. And then I would add the period onto it, or the interval, and 3 pi over 4 plus 3 pi we know is going to be too big because this alone is too big. If you wanted to keep going, you could make that 12 pi over 4, and I get 15 pi over 4. 2 pi is 8 pi over 4. So I know that's too big, and 3 pi over 4 is the only answer on the natural unit circle that would be okay in this equation. All right, you can use please submit your notes. Submit your notes so you get your easy grade for the day. Submit notes. And use the remaining time to work on the 3.10 part 1 homework. It's actually on the WebAssign. So make sure you click on the link and it'll take you to WebAssign, and then log in for your questions. Show all the work and submit your answers to WebAssign. Screenshot your score and add the score to your work and submit it to Canvas. We'll save the AP questions after the lesson for 310, part 2.